This thing is a Lego Legolas. When my daughter was 3, she became fixated on The Lord of the Rings. I want to stress to you, I didn't let her watch it. But my mother had a big picture book of stills from the movie, and every time we went over to my mother's house, my daughter pulled it out and spent hours poring over the pictures. In particular, it was Legolas that caught her fancy. Why is he called Legolas? Where does Legolas live? Does Legolas like Mirkwood? I think the name of the place, Mirkwood, made her quite doubtful about whether or not he would like to live there. Does Legolas have magic powers, and so on? Just question after question. She wanted to know everything she could about this shining, gorgeous man with his pointy ears. Now, adult colouring books have taken off all over the world, so I won't be too embarrassed to admit that my favourite way to unwind is not colouring in, but building Lego. And anyone who's been to my office for a meeting can confirm that. I buy myself a big Lego set every summer, and that particular summer I bought the Helm's Deep Lego set, and in it was a tiny Gimli and a tiny Aragorn and of course a tiny Legolas. Now my kids aren't allowed to touch my Lego, and my daughter knew this, but on the day I opened the packet that had Legolas in it and put him together, I relented, and she took him and she carried him around with her all day, and she set him up on the fence to watch her do somersaults, and she took him in the bath, and his cape got all wet, and then she laid him on the pillow next to her when she had her afternoon nap. It was very sweet. But then I finished the model of Helm's Deep, and I took Legolas back and I clicked him into place on the battlements, and I forgot about him. I was going to take it back to work as soon as the summer was over. My daughter didn't forget about Legolas. It was a few days later that I noticed he was missing. I searched all around Helm's Deep. I searched on the floor. I pulled out the vacuum cleaner bag, but I could not find Legolas. So assuming, as I had to, that he'd been kidnapped by a love-struck 3-year-old girl, I went to ask my daughter. She absolutely, positively did not have Legolas, she said, but there was a look about her that made me suspicious. So I turned her room upside down looking for him, but I couldn't find a thing. Eventually, though, the guilt cracked her. At bedtime, she began to cry, and then she confessed that not only had she removed Legolas from Helm's Deep, but that she had put him in her mouth to hide him when she went in the shower and had accidentally swallowed him. So, in fact, she loved Legolas so much that she ate him. So, of course, I freaked out. I called the telephone health line and I explained what had happened, and I was utterly frantic, but they were blasé. Minifigs, as these things are called, apparently get swallowed all the time, and eventually they said it will pass through. Pass through. So it was once again into the mines of Moria for Legolas, and for us it was an anxious few days checking my daughter's nappies, thank goodness she was still in nappies, until finally he emerged from the Dimrill gate in 2 pieces. He was. We washed him, we sanitized him, of course, gave him a new cape, snapped his head back on, and we've kept him to bring out at her 21st birthday party to remind her about her first true love. And that is the story of this thing.